Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? This is Enrique Sanchez with Spanish United, and today I have two very special guests. Would you be kind enough to introduce yourselves to the audience, please?
Yes, good afternoon to your audience. My name is Frank Ariel. I am the owner of Ariel Law Group, which is a personal injury law firm. We are accident and injury lawyers.
And good afternoon. My name is Jesus Morales. I'm the senior associate at Ariel Law Group. I work for Mr. Frank Ariel. Buenas tardes. De parte del grupo de abogados Ariel, Jesús Morales, también con el abogado Frank Ariel. Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes. Muchas gracias por estar en el programa. Thank you very much for being on the show. It was kind of interesting how I got acquainted with Mr. Ariel. I know that his firm is, posted something in my group in Spanish United. I decided to reach out to you guys. So one of the things that Spanish United does is that we are a civil rights organization, Hispanic First Movement. We help Hispanic people and advocate for them in areas of civil rights, advocacy, etc. And I was very interested about the law firm in terms of the ratio of Hispanics, how many Hispanics have you represented, and how is Hispanic representation in personal injury cases? So, Frank, would you like to go first?
Yes, absolutely. You see, Jesus and I are both first generation immigrants. I immigrated from Iran over 40 years ago, and Jesus is from Mexico. So we're very, very familiar with the plight of the immigration community when they're immigrants, when they're here and they don't know what the laws are, they don't know what their rights are. And so, I can totally relate to the Latino community. And that's what makes us great. Our makeup is in the office is majority is Hispanic individuals. We represent many immigrants from Mexico and first generation Mexican Americans here. So, like I said, we understand what they go through. We understand their troubles, and we come in and fill in where they're lacking. Jesus, you want to fill in a little bit?
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and follow up. Obviously, that we get a lot of situations that are personal injury, but they get become complicated court cases, and then it's not so straightforward. So, I really enjoy when we have a complicated case and we have a client like Frank is saying that may not be familiar with a lot of the legal system, and we get an opportunity to really be of service to the community. And like Frank was saying, most of our clients do happen to be Latino. So I'll just give a little breakdown in Spanish of what we discussed. La mayoría de nuestros clientes aquí en el grupo legal Ariel son de descendencia latina, y es muy importante para nosotros porque igual como el señor Ariel, que es iraní, su familia viene de Irán, mi familia también es mexicana, venimos de México, y conocemos lo que es a veces llegar a un lugar donde no somos familiares, o sea, conocemos bien las leyes y el sistema legal, y a veces puede ser difícil navegar todo el sistema sin saber bien lo que está haciendo uno. Y por eso aquí en el grupo legal, la mayoría de los empleados somos latinos, trabajamos para la comunidad latina, y sabemos en qué podemos ser de servicio a la comunidad latina también.
Yeah, one thing that a lot of Hispanics face, primarily when it comes to the court system or the legal system, the judicial system, has to do that many of them don't know their rights. Many of them don't know how the system works. So in many cases, when they have a personal injury case, sometimes a lot of companies and lawyers like to take deals in their best interests. And I feel that when Hispanics are not educated about their system, about their rights, they can be taken advantage of. I've spoken to many Hispanics that have gone through many court cases, both civil and criminal, that they felt they've been taken advantage of, and primarily is because they were not aware of due process. They were not aware about invoking the Fifth Amendment, those types of things. And I feel it's very important that Spanish are educated about their rights, so that way they can make better decisions and they can prevent themselves from getting taken advantage of, not only by their lawyers or by the court. Because I've seen many cases where many Hispanics take a plea deal, for example, but not understanding what that plea deal means, and then later on they're the ones that get screwed. So I think it's very important that Hispanics get educated on their rights, and at the same time know what they are dealing with. And I think you guys are doing a very excellent job. I actually read a little bit about the Ariel Law Group profile online, and you actually have a pretty good track record. So I'm very impressed with what you guys are doing, especially for the Hispanic community.
Yes, Enrique, you're absolutely correct. When you don't know what your rights are, and especially for the Hispanic community, there is much rhetoric against so-called illegal immigration and the ability of the government to deport you. So you always live in fear. Not only you don't know what your rights are, but you are also afraid to practice them and exercise anything, fearing that, hey, they may come after me, which is absolutely not true. And it very much rings home for me. When we came to this country, we didn't know. We were in unfamiliar waters and territory. And therefore, I understand. I have a special place in my heart for people who come to me and say, hey, I don't know what to do. Oftentimes, like you said, and you were talking about in criminal law settings, the due process and Fifth Amendment and all that when they don't know, the system can put them in jeopardy. You're absolutely right. In the situation where personal injuries happen, be it a work-related accident or an automobile accident, or any other situation where they injured themselves and it's not their fault, people don't know what their rights are. They don't know that they're entitled to receive compensation for their medical bills, for their loss of earnings, loss of income as a result of not being able to go to work. They don't know that they're entitled to a compensation for their pain and suffering. Dolor y sufrimiento. That's important. So they don't exercise those rights. Or oftentimes I hear that they're concerned about pursuing their rights because they may not have a driver's license, and they're concerned that may be something that will lead to other issues and immigration problems and so forth. So this is where we come in and advise them, and we let them know what their rights are, and we give them that confidence. For me, it's very important that my Latino clients know what their rights are, but also for them to know that I educate them. I see eye to eye with my clients. I don't tell them what to do. I advise them these are their rights and allow them to make the best choice for themselves. So that's important. For me, that's important for my Latino community, for my Latino clientele and the Latino community, your audience to know that this is how we approach things. We educate, we advise, we become like their friends, family members, and we handle it that way. Jesus, please chime in a little bit in Spanish. This is important for our listeners to know.
Claro que sí. Entonces, como estaba diciendo Frank y como estaba diciendo también Enrique, a veces cuando la gente viene de otro lugar, o tiene problemas o situación migratoria que no está resuelta, a veces uno piensa o tiene miedo a pensar que uno también tiene derechos, pero la verdad es que uno igual, sin importar el estatus, sin importar dónde viene, tiene derechos, con o sin licencia de manejo, con o sin documentos. Todos tenemos derecho a proceso, al mismo proceso debido, y todos tenemos los mismos derechos bajo la ley. A veces, por ejemplo, en los casos de accidente, muchas veces la gente no sabe que también puede recuperar su pérdida de ingreso, puede recuperar otro tipo de daño, ¿verdad? Puede recuperar daño emocional por el sufrimiento y el dolor que ha pasado por el accidente. Entonces, es muy importante y obviamente eso que hacemos aquí en el Grupo Ariel, ¿verdad? Cuando el abogado toma el caso, queremos hablar con el cliente, sentarnos en la mesa, hablar ojo a ojo, ser claros, educar al cliente, pero con todo respeto, para que el cliente esté bien informado de cuáles son los derechos y cómo va a correr el proceso y qué se puede hacer al respecto. Entonces, para nosotros es muy importante en este tipo de proceso informar a la comunidad latina para que, o sea, seamos también un servicio a la comunidad.
Yeah, I think it's very important that lawyers, in particularly, they educate the client, and they also let them know that they are the ones that are in control. Like, the purpose of being a lawyer is not to be in their interest, but be in the interest of their client, and also to execute justice. And I think that's very important, because unfortunately, for many people, they look at lawyers maybe not in the best light, but people also need to understand that lawyers are there to help people. Like, I've spoken to many people that, because of bad experience they may have with a lawyer with a particular case or whatever, they try to go it alone, and it's not advisable, because especially if you don't know the system can pretty much eat you up and chew you out. I've seen it with many people that I know. I've seen it with many cases. So I think it's very important that a lawyer sits down with the client, not only educate them, but also make them feel comfortable and let them know that they are on their side, because that's the reason why they're there to represent them. So that way they could speak for them. That's the whole point of what a lawyer is. They are to defend the interests of the client. That's something that's very, very, very important.
Yes.
And yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I was just going to chime in and say, look, those things that you talked about, strong representation, strong advocacy, justice, and compassionate representation. So those three things, strong advocacy, justice, and compassionate representation, those are three things that we stress on and emphasis in all of our be it advertisements or trying to reach out to the community and let them know what our firm is all about. Okay, we are strong representatives. We're not afraid of nobody. We go against the biggest insurance companies and we walk away with success because we're strong minded and we are focused on what's important, and that's getting the best result for our clients. Okay. The next thing is compassionate representation. Listen, like you touched on it, most of our clients are people, blue collar workers, middle class community, going down to the lower class community in terms of financials. And these are people who feel, people that companies can take advantage of me. My employer, big company, can take advantage of me. I am weak and they're strong. Insurance companies can take advantage of me. So they tend to give up and go for any deal that is offered to them. And most of the time, it's a bad deal. Mm-hmm. It's a bad deal. So when I talk for the first time to any client, especially my Latino clients, I tell them, listen, we're here to help you, to advise you. We're going to be fighting strong for you with compassion to establish justice. That's important to us. And I tell them, look, if you go by yourself, you can be taken advantage of. 100% you can be taken advantage of. You're dealing with insurance companies. They make their money by collecting as much premiums as possible and by paying out on claims as little as possible. So the difference is their profit. So when they pay out as little as possible on claims, they're successful. They're making money, and the insurance company representatives are rewarded for that. That's how the system is set up. So you don't go against that system without representation. Jesus? Jesus still there?
Hello, Jesus, you there?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I got muted. Entonces, lo que hacemos aquí en el grupo legal, Ariel, es representar a los clientes, o sea, directamente hacia adelante con fuerza, pero también con un sentido de justicia. Al cliente lo también tratamos con compasión, porque obviamente es importante que el cliente se sienta, parte del equipo y parte de la misión. Obviamente, cuando uno está lastimado y va contra la compañía de seguros o contra la empresa donde uno trabaja, pues siempre va a tener el sentido que uno va contra alguien más grande, más poderoso. Pero por eso estamos aquí los abogados, para intermediar y poder educar a los clientes y también abogar y sacar los casos adelante. Muchas veces la gente piensa que pueden lidiar con las compañías de seguro, pero obviamente las compañías de seguro ganan dinero colectando las primas y después no pagando los daños que han causado la gente que llevan las pólizas. Entonces, entre menos paguen ellos, más ganan, y literalmente le dan bonos a los trabajadores de seguro por no pagar los reclamos de la gente lastimada. Entonces, obviamente, siempre va a tener mucho valor tener un abogado en ese sentido, porque es lo que hacemos nosotros todo el día, abogar por la gente, con compasión hacia el cliente, pero con fuerza hacia las compañías de seguro, porque lo que ellos quieren es que uno se doble, y lo que uno no va a dejar que pase es eso. Uno va a seguir adelante trabajando para tratar de conseguir el mejor resolución del caso para el cliente. Y es importante que el cliente esté bien informado, pero también que se trate con respeto durante ese proceso.
Okay.
Enrique,
Yes, go ahead.
let me give one example of where I see that clients need to be educated. One area is people who are injured at work. Oftentimes they call me and they say, look, I was doing this. I was delivering some merchandise and I had an accident. I was hit on the freeway and my back is killing me. I can't work. But I don't want to put in a claim against my company. And I can see the real fear in their voice and in their face. They don't want to have their company pay for their medical bills. And I ask them why. They tell me, well, I've been working for this company for a number of years and I'm afraid they'll fire me. And, one thing that is important is I tell them, look, by law, companies, your employer cannot lay you off, fire you, or in any way punish you for presenting a workman's compensation claim against the company. It's your right. This is what the law provided for employees. So if they're injured while at work, while performing their job duties, they can be protected. So, and to some people, no matter how many times I tell them, they're still in that fear of losing their job, and they decide, I no, that's okay. I'm not going to go in that direction. So this is just an example of how, when you don't know what your rights are, you can totally be out there without protection, and some medical bills can be very hefty. And this is not a good thing. Another area is this thing that about having the correct type of insurance coverage on your automobile. I find myself many times looking at insurance policies that my clients, especially my Latino clientele, their coverage is, they think that they have what's called quote unquote full coverage. Okay. Insurance agents and brokers want to sell them insurance, and they just tell them, hey, it's full coverage, and they don't know that it's missing a lot of parts.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very misleading. A lot of insurance companies release people's that you're offering full coverage, but in reality they're not giving full coverage. So it's very misleading. Yeah, but go ahead.
Listen, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That phrase full coverage, it's being used very fast and loose, and what they just give them liability and some comprehensive and collision, and they call it full coverage. You're fully covered. No, you're not fully covered. One thing is very important is uninsured motorist protection. Uninsured motorist protection comes into play when you have an accident and you're not at fault, and the other driver who caused the accident doesn't have insurance. So your own insurance company comes in and covers you. And that's very, very important, because nowadays you find that a lot of drivers are driving irresponsibly and without insurance. So you need to have that to protect yourself. Chances are that when you get into an accident, that it's not your fault. Okay, statistics show that most of the time it's not your fault, it's the other guy's fault. But unfortunately, the other guy doesn't carry automobile insurance. So what do? If you don't have that coverage, it's called uninsured motorist. How do you say that in Spanish?
Conductor sin seguranza. I think it would be the proper.
Okay. All right. Well, Jesus will chime in on this too. But
yeah, entonces un ejemplo nada más, o dos ejemplos de cuando tal vez la gente puede ser afectada por no saber los derechos. Uno es obviamente cuando uno se lastima en el empleo, muchas veces uno no quiere hacer un reclamo de workers' comp o de compensación de trabajador. ¿Por qué? Porque uno tiene miedo que tal vez pueda haber repercusiones en el trabajo, lo puedan despedir a uno, pueden tomar represalias contra uno, pero en verdad, la verdad es que uno tiene el derecho de hacer el reclamo sí o sí, sin importar nada más. Y si lo llegan a despedir, a tomar acciones indebidas en contra de usted o otro tipo de hostigamiento, usted puede demandarlos también. Y eso es simple, es muy simple así. Y entonces muchas veces la gente dice que no quieren demandar a donde trabajan. ¿Por qué? Porque han trabajado ahí por mucho tiempo, porque tienen miedo, pero la verdad es que la ley lo que dice es que uno tiene ese derecho absoluto de hacer el reclamo de workers' comp, y aparte si la empresa o la compañía toma una acción negativa en contra de uno tiene más derechos todavía. Otra situación que también vemos seguidamente aquí en el buffet es que muchas veces la gente tiene problemas con la compañía de seguros. ¿Por qué? Porque uno va con su agente y le venden a uno una póliza, lo que le llaman full coverage o cobertura total, ¿verdad? Que según el nombre indica que uno está cubierto para todo tipo de accidente, pero en realidad esas pólizas de full coverage no vienen tan repletas como deben de ser. Lo que es importante aquí es notar en la póliza en sí, es que si viene el tipo de cobertura denominado UM o UIM, y lo que eso significa es uninsured motorist y underinsured motorist. Entonces, eso es para los conductores que no tienen aseguranza o para los conductores que no tienen suficiente aseguranza cuando uno está en un accidente y uno no es la parte culpable. ¿Y cómo pasa eso? O sea, pasa seguido porque estadísticamente si uno está en un accidente, es más probable que la culpa no fue de uno. Entonces, lo que pasa es que a uno lo chocan y la persona que lo chocó o no tiene aseguranza o tiene muy poca aseguranza, y la aseguranza de uno, lo que se llama liability, no cubre ese tipo de accidente. Por eso es muy importante que uno pregunte o trate de conseguir ese tipo de cobertura. Una vez más, se llama underinsured motorist y uninsured motorist. Y como le digo, es para los conductores que no tienen aseguranza o que tienen muy baja cobertura de aseguranza.
No, okay, all right. Another thing I was gonna ask, how can Spanish United partner with the Ariel Law Group? Because we would like to work particularly like in the area of attorneys, especially with those that are not been able to find attorneys or that have been turned down. So I would like to know how can we receive not only like a sponsorship, but also to work together, Spanish United with Ariel Group. So would you care to elaborate, Frank?
Sure. Well, I mean, as far as your viewers and listeners and people who follow your organization are concerned, we can have some type of online, partnership or something. You can let them know that if they've been injured in accidents or injury, any kind of an injury situation, they can call us and consult with us. And also, if there is any kind of grassroots type of reach out you have in the community, we can be there to be a part of it as well.
Yeah, because that's what Spanish United is looking for. We're looking for sponsors to work with, especially those that are familiar with the Hispanic community. And I would like to, like I said, I would like Spanish United to partner with you. Get some type of sponsorship so that way we can work together for the greater good of the Hispanic community. Because I feel that the Hispanic community is underrepresented in everything, not just in the judicial system, but pretty much in everything. Even though we're the largest minority and we represent a good portion of the workforce, but I believe that we are invisible in many things when it comes to visibility, when it comes to civil rights, social rights, and when it comes to legal issues.
Our office, our doors are always open to any organization who is truly and genuinely out there to help people, especially the Latino community. We right now we're also partnering up with the EYA Foundation, the Empowering Young Latina Athletes, and it's an organization that is involved in helping out young Latina athletes in the side high schools. They reach out to them and they help them financially with purchasing the gear they need, for instance, for playing baseball or soccer or what have you. The cleats are expensive. The baseball bats cost money. The baseball mitts cost money. Mm-hmm. So we're involved with them. We're sponsoring EYA's run in the LA Marathon this coming Sunday. We've been involved with various other organizations as far as lending a hand and sponsoring or just being there to help out. It's important for us that we give back to the community that is helping us. I've been an attorney for 30 years. Majority of my clientele have been Hispanics, Latinos. I love my Hispanic community clientele. I respect them. There's a lot that my culture, Persian culture, and the Latino culture share. There's a lot of overlap. So I see very much eye to eye with my Latino clientele. And it's important for me to give back to this community that has put food on my table for the last 30 years and supported me in supporting other my employees who they depend on me to support their families. So it's important for us to give back. Jesus, you want to chime in a little bit on this?
Yeah.
Yeah, so nada más como estábamos platicando, o sea, posibilidades para poder trabajar con Spanish United o con la comunidad latina. Una manera obviamente es, o sea, a todos los radioescuchas o a todos los seguidores de Enrique y de Spanish United, obviamente pueden hablarnos a la oficina. Estamos disponibles para ayudarlo en sus casos de cuando se hayan lastimado en accidente, en el trabajo o cualquier otro tipo de accidente. Entonces, aparte también, obviamente, tal vez sería interesante tener un tipo de enlace por internet o algo así. Lo que sí hemos hecho anteriormente es que también hemos prohibido apoyo y soporte a otras organizaciones comunitarias que también apoyan a la comunidad latina. Lo que Frank estaba diciendo es que este domingo este domingo que viene vamos a estar apoyando a la organización EYA, que es una organización que apoya a las jóvenes latinas para ayudarles a pagar todos los gastos que son involucrados con jugar deportes, porque sabemos que las jóvenes en la preparatoria, en la secundaria, los gastos de los deportes son muy altos y a veces eso impide que ellas participen. Entonces, lo que hacemos es apoyando con apoyo económico, pero también soporte moral y también físico, porque hemos ido a diferentes eventos para ayudar con los eventos y también hemos sido parte de otros organizaciones comunitarias, porque es muy importante. O sea, obviamente trabajamos con la comunidad latina, con los clientes, y es muy importante para la oficina, para Frank, regresar algo de lo que nos han dado, porque como dice Frank, o sea, para él ve muchas similaridades entre la cultura persa y la cultura latina. Entonces, quiere repagar todo lo que la comunidad nos ha dado a nosotros, y aparte también dar un servicio de calidad.
Let me make sure that I give a definite shout out to ELA, which is ELLA, stands for Empowering Leadership in Latina Athletes, and in particular to the organizer of the group, Patty. They're doing a fantastic job in helping out these young girls and ladies and gentlemen in reaching their dreams. So definitely shout out to them.
Perfect. I wanted to thank you, Frank and Jesus, for coming on the show. I truly appreciate it. And I also wanted to say, anyone from your law firm or anyone from your firm that wants to reach out to Spanish United, they can find us on social media on Spanish United. .com. That's our official website. We are on Spanish United Instagram, Spanish United Facebook, Spanish United Twitter. And if anyone wants to give like a donation or support Spanish United, they are free to contact me. And anything that you give is tax deductible. And anything that is given is going to be used to help the Hispanic community, particularly those that are homeless, because there's a lot of Hispanics that are homeless. So one of the things that we do in Spanish United is that we go out on an individual basis, kind of like a de facto social work. We go meet the communities, we speak with them. I go directly, me and my mother, and we try to, assist them to the best of our abilities. So, hey, if anyone could help us out, either economically or giving donations of supplies, that we perfectly appreciate it. And I want to thank you so much for being on the show.
Well, I thank you very much. I thank you for the great job that you're doing in the community. Obviously, your heart is in the right place, and it's such a rewarding thing when you help out somebody who's in need, and the help doesn't have to be in hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars. Every dollar that one gives away, if somebody brings any kind of food items or supplies to you and you're able to put those out there, that all counts in helping other people and in establishing justice in the community. You and I both talked offline about our common Jewish heritage.
Mm-hmm.
And if may I touch on that a little bit? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. We have a little bit left.
Okay, the word for giving money away or giving help away in Hebrew it's tzedakah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which comes from the word tzedek, which means justice.
Mm-hmm.
So when we help out, when we give out tzedakah, when we give out a helping hand, whether money or food or what have you, we are helping establish justice in the community, because those people who are in need, a community is not a just community when those people who are in need are not helped out. So we are establishing justice by helping out the more needy people in our community, the people who unfortunately have hit certain economic conditions or what have you, or because of their health. I find a lot of my clients who are involved in accidents or injured, they can't go to work. They can't bring food home to put on the table. So, they become needy. Not everyone who's homeless is as a result of their own fault, or
Exactly.
being druggies or what have you.
Exactly.
Many of these people, unfortunately, have hit hard economic situations, hard, maybe because of some illness, or maybe also because of, unfortunately, mental illness. The
Right.
pressures are extreme. Living in Los Angeles, living in today's world,
Exactly.
life in general is very, very stressful. So, people fall, unfortunately, ill, emotionally, mentally, and they're not able to be providers. So this, by giving, we are helping establish justice, tzedek, in the
Exactly.
community.
That's all. That's all part of Tikkun Olam, or the world to come.
Exactly, fixing of the world. You want to chime in on that a little bit in Spanish about
There
what
won't
we
be a
just
little
talked?
time because I'm on a timer and it's gonna
Okay,
go like in a minute. But I wanted to say thank you so much. And
thank
again,
you.
I will definitely send the link to you guys, and you could share it to whatever.
Thank you, Enrique.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
I
Thank you so
received
much.
it.
Gracias a todos.
Igualmente.
gracias.
Have yourself a good day, and Shabbat Shalom.
All right, thank you. Take care. Bye bye.